Welcome back to Note Card Art School. I'm Mark. Today, the topic of today's class is coloring. More on coloring. We already did coloring. This is more on coloring. So sometimes you'll make a shape and you'll start coloring it in and you'll realize that two colors are the same. And so I picked up two different pens by two different manufacturers, two different indelible markers, if you will. And I realized they're almost the same color. And so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to fix it. I don't like it, and I'm going to fix it. You're in control of this show. It's all about you, whatever you want. So the way I'm going to fix this color problem is by adding a second color on top of the first. Now this would be a great time for me to mention why I use waterproof markers. Well, they're not all waterproof, but all you really need is waterproof markers. And there's different manufacturers that make them, and they come in sets of colors. And the reason let me just say, the reason I have ended up using these kind of markers is because they don't melt the paper. Now, if you're some kind of actual art school goer or some kind of actual artist, you could tell me why this is. I don't know why this is. But if I use a regular old marker on a cheap index card like this, and I start rubbing it back and forth, it melts the paper. It like rips up the paper, and that drives me nuts. I don't like it. These kind of markers, though, I don't know why or how, what the science is, but these kind of markers don't ruin the paper. They don't melt the paper. So it's like you can lay a color down. You can put a color down, let's say, and you can put another color down over it like 10 minutes later when it's dry. And I don't know what it is. It just doesn't ruin the paper. It's like magic. So, and you know, the colors are bright and robust. And when you're making something as small as a note card, 4 by 6 inches, let's say, I don't know, you could make a little brown little object if you wanted, but I don't know if anyone would actually be able to see that. So these markers are good too. I'm not here to advertise anything, but you can get these, you know, like at a store like Michael's. I'm also not advertising those guys, but I'm just saying, like a craft store. That's what I should say. A craft store. I'm not here to make money. You know, actually, I don't get paid anything to do this job. It's like volunteer. Yeah, so you can color. These things don't melt the paper either, whatever they're made of. I don't know. But they don't melt the paper either, so they can be good. And they come in colors. But you don't need that. You don't need to get anything fancy. You could buy a box of these bad boys or these ones, and for like 20 bucks with a whole bunch of different colors in it, and you can get them at every kind of a store that you've ever been to where it's big and it's like a box shape. So yeah, you can add a color on top of another color. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there'll be some chemical reaction in here, and maybe 20 years from now this thing will look different or weird. But I'm not really about 20 years from now. If they hang one of these things up in the Louvre Museum in France, I'm going to have to leave them to sort out what happens to this ink over the next 1500 centuries. It's not my problem, kind of a thing. I'm just here to make them right here, right now. So part of the reason we make them like this on a note card, part of the reason I've ended up using note cards to make art is as follows. They're fast and cheap. And you can whip them off like I don't know, it takes me one episode of Note Card Art School to draw one, and it takes me 1 or 2 episodes of Note Card Art School to color it. So it's about 7 minutes is an episode. A class, an art school class is 7 minutes. So we finish them, you know, fast. And the reason that's important is you could spend all day, you could spend all weekend on a painting. And at the end of it, you will have made progress. You started here and you ended up there. You learned something and you got better at painting, you know. Good job. You succeeded. And I'm all for it if you can afford that luxury. But what I've noticed in this 564 note cards that I've drawn is I'm making progress. I'm changing. The art is changing and I am changing. There's an internal change and an external change. And that's what you want to see happen. And if you finish each one in 7 minutes or 15 minutes, and the next one you make, you experience a little progress, then you're progressing faster. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, you make more progress. More finished art, more progress. Write that down. That's a good little thing right there. All right, well, thanks for coming. You've just been to, maybe you've been through it too, another episode, another class of Note Card Art School, another Note Card Art School class with Mark Reed. Send us an email, notecardartschool@gmail.com. We welcome your thoughts, criticism, and your note cards. If you start making them, send me a picture. And otherwise, keep watching this show, and we will get you making some art of your own. Thanks for coming. See you next time. Bye.